Hello everyone, it's Tess, and today is tip 124. And yeah, I didn't even bother with the hair today. Who cares? Anyways, today I decided I wanted to talk about, have you learned how to laugh and enjoy your journey yet? And the reason I'm talking about this is we all know that I'm studying materials from all kinds of places, and one of them is Zahar Mahoon Unlimited. And we have like daily journals that we work on. And today, hi Dolly, good morning. So today what I wanted to think about is, I think maybe sometimes we need to shift our approach and we need to start thinking about things differently. And I know this topic comes up a lot, but this morning when I was doing my studying for Unlimited, and again, that's Zahar Mahoon, it kind of talks about we can always shift our thoughts and we can always make things better. And in her little analogy, she was talking about learning to ride a bike and how, like, when we're dealing with children, we can create fear in them if we, every time an event happens and something goes wrong, we turn it into the biggest horrible ordeal that ever happened, or if we turn it into a positive thing. And it made me start thinking about some things that happened in my own childhood. And my dad was always the quiet one, and he wasn't the main disciplinarian, but there were some really important lessons I learned along the way, and it kind of made me think about the weight loss journey. And I think we get so serious and so failure focused in this journey that we give up without giving it a really strong attempt. And what it made me think about today when I was working on this this education this morning is that we have to learn to make this fun. And I know I've talked about how, like, right now I'm learning a little bit more about tomatoes and what I'm going to add. And I've got multiple pepper plants going, and I've got cucumbers and spaghetti squash and beans, and I'm relocating some of my garden, and I'm moving rose bushes, and I'm turning the journey fun. But it made me realize something. This education this morning made me realize that I really believe, even in my case, one of my biggest obstacles is that I have not stepped back and tried to make this journey fun. The weight loss journey, I always take it so serious because it's my health. Well, that part is serious, but can I soften my approach? And I started thinking about, like, when I was a kid, I can remember when I first learned to drive, and living in a cold state, one day it was icy, and I pulled out of the driveway and the car spun like a complete 360. And I am a cautious person. I am a careful driver, and I went through all the skills that had to be done, but it made me uncomfortable. And when I came home, I talked about it, and my dad, wise man who doesn't get involved at all, he recognized that I had fear. So he handed me the keys and sent me up to go get him something at the store. And I didn't realize it till later, but it was, he wanted me back in the saddle of that car immediately. He wanted me to overcome what I was letting build up inside of me. And I started thinking about it. Hi, good morning, Doc. And I started thinking about it. And the other thing that kind of came up that was a lesson learned from my dad that I think applies to our weight loss journey is we have got to make it fun. We have got to get excited. We have got to stop beating ourselves up. Because another lesson he taught me was, since I live in a state where it's icy, I'm going to encounter difficult things. Everyone thought I had the coolest dad in the world, but what he would do is he would send us to a school parking lot and he would rate our donuts. We would have to do donuts in the car. My sister and I both doing donuts in the car. And everyone thought he was the coolest man in the world. But when I sit back here right now, it was all about engaging in what was difficult. He wasn't going to allow us to stand back and be afraid. He said, you have to be engaged, and it has to be automatic, and you have to kind of have some fun with it. So every winter before the big crazy snows, my dad would have us in parking lot as soon as we got a little bit of a layer of ice, and we'd be doing donuts and he'd be rating them. Now everyone thinks that's cool, but I'm going to tell you, when you're getting a rating from your dad of 1 to 10 on your donuts, it's not necessarily fun. But what it made me realize today is we need to incorporate that fun in this weight loss journey. I'm having fun learning. I'm having fun gardening. I'm having fun reevaluating what what am I going to put in the garden this year and what's going to be a little different. We've already like kind of looked at, you know, where my new locations are going to be. I got a water feature. I've got a spinner. These are all things I learned from Doc V. But we've got to stop making it always painful. Yes, there is pain in it, but it's even like something silly like fasting. I'm going to try to go longer today. And no, I'm not going to try to go longer. I am going to go longer today. Because you know what? I'm stronger than the negative voice in my head. And I think we all have to shift that. Are we going to have fun with this? Are we going to stop being the child who falls on the bike and scrapes their knee and will never ride the bike again? Or are we going to keep getting up and twisting just a little bit of fun into it? And I think that's the biggest obstacle, is we don't know how to have fun with this journey. We have become so serious all the time that we make this something that we regret and we hate doing so much that we find every excuse in the book not to do it. So find something fun about it. Maybe gardening isn't your thing. Maybe it's and these are all things Doc V has told us a million times, but make yourself look for something on YouTube. Look for a new recipe. Find a new twist to something you've always done. I'll share a story that happened way back when I first had my surgery. And this is something that I'll still do sometimes to this day, but there was a clothing sale for the bariatric community that the surgical team that I had used to do all kinds of support groups, and they would do a clothing sale once a year to where the patients could sell their big clothes and try to buy smaller clothes from other patients. And I was at this sale within 6 months of having surgery, and I was still really careful and still drinking all the protein shakes and still eating soft foods and still being really careful. Well, I remember this one particular day, I had been there all day long and I wanted something different. And I had a teeny bit of hummus in the bottom of a container. I had a protein drink, I didn't want it. So I went into the cafeteria, and you would think in the cafeteria of a hospital, you would be able to find something that you want. But at 6 months out of surgery, I wasn't finding anything that I felt safe eating. So I found a little container of cottage cheese and I brought it back. And I mixed the cottage cheese with the hummus. Okay, now needless to say, this looks like vomit. But when I mixed it up, I started eating it. I really, really enjoyed it. Well, of course, my nutritionist comes back and she starts laughing about how horrible this thing looks, but how good it was for me. So then over the years, I started like playing with it, like adding salsa, and I'll dip my vegetables in it and stuff like that. But now this is actually a recipe they put in their bariatric book that they give to their patients. But it was a fun thing, and it's a fun story. It's a hysterically fun story, because I go to these support group meetings and they'll go, you're the one who did that. And I think it's just about fun, you guys. We've got to take back that this life is meant to be lived and enjoyed, and find something fun. You know, it was painful at the time that my dad was rating my donuts, but you know what? I instinctively know how to turn out of a spin. I don't even worry about it anymore. And that's what he told me. It's got to be instinctive. It's got to be something that you just do, because if you think about it, it's too late, you hit the tree. Well, it's the same thing with this weight loss journey. Just start engaging in it in a fun way. If what you're doing right now isn't fun, find something to spin it fun. Like even that, if you want to become active, make it something that's fun. You know, make it walking, make it a new sport, make it a new pair of tennis shoes, make something about it fun. You guys, we take this way too. This is a serious thing, but we can make it fun. Why do we make it so hard? Make it fun to see how many times you can sip that water in the next hour. Can you hit 100 of them? Try to beat your last hour before, but make it fun. This journey doesn't have to be horrible. We make it horrible. We are totally in control of our thoughts, and we can totally spin them to something positive, and we don't do that enough. Even in my work environment, I'm spinning my thoughts. I'm enjoying it. Good morning, Rachel. Yeah, John Clark, move to music. Make it fun. You guys can do this. I can do this. I sit back here and I'm going, why do I always go, oh, poor me, I have to drink a little more water. Why not? Hey, this is pretty awesome. I just got 100 ounces in. Hey, you know what? I just got a new pair of tennis shoes. Hey, you know what? I probably have told this story before. I'm going to tell you the hardest thing I have ever done in my life was a 300-mile bicycle ride over the course of a weekend. But I'm going to tell you that the reward of carrying that medal around in my pocket stayed in my pocket for more than a month after. And any poor soul who would stay still long enough got to hear the story. It became something fun, something so out of the ordinary for me to do, and something I was so proud of that it was an excitement in that journey that carried me for a very, very long time. And I'm realizing today that too often I let those negative thoughts invade, and I'm not doing it anymore. And you know what, you guys? You aren't too. You aren't going to do it either. If I can catch you, I'm going to make you stop. There's something beautiful outside. You might see a bird. You might see a butterfly. You might find you have a new sport. I'm walking. I spend time with my mom. We get to know each other in a whole new different way. Do it in a fun way. Whenever you catch yourself with that bad negative thought, stop and spin it. You can spin any thought and it feels better. And you know you've spun it when it feels better. We've got to stop making this journey painful and recognize it as fun. So my weight loss journey from now on is going to be raiding the donuts in a parking lot. My dad is a very, very smart man, and he always recognized when I was starting to edge on fear. And why did it take me till I'm this age to realize I need to stop and I need to start spinning it when I start operating on fear? I can succeed and you can succeed, and we will succeed. So spin it, you guys. If you start getting in the doldrums and you start getting in the negative self-talk, stop yourself and spin a positive statement. Keep spinning those positive statements until they become automatic. And you can do it, because I know we can all do it. We've got a wealth of information from Doc V and all the challenges in the videos. There's no reason why we can't find something to spin it. So spin it, you guys. We're Slingshot Forward Saturday, and spin it to where you're going to enjoy the slingshot. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. Thank you. Whoops.